guess I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay, so hustler challenge. Hold up. I have to see something. Challenge that. Sorry, I'm pulling this information as I'm currently streaming. Dang, they added a bunch of stuff. Oh, here's the hustler challenge. Gosh, why is this like so... It's home, I can't even see it. How do I get rid of this stuff? There we go. How do I change the hustler challenge? Shit. I don't remember how to do this now. The bubbles. How do I change the bubbles? Sorry, I'm trying to not change the hustler. Bubbles. I don't understand why. Oh. Complete all these real quick. Alright, so how do I... extend the challenge? Where is the challenge? How to represent challenge points. Okay, here we go. Bubbles, edit. So what balance looks like. Drag and drop to upload points. Doesn't make any sense. One of these is gonna work. Maybe. No, wrong sizes. Okay, so where is... There it is. Extended number of days. 30 more days. Extended duration. Okay. Message effects. I'm just going to change them all to 10. I feel like, okay, now looking back on like all of like my social media and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know, I'm looking through it and realizing there's like so much stuff that needs to be changed in here. Yeah, it goes from 250 all the way up to 1,000. Hold up, let me get 500 on here. Edit, hats off to you, 750. I'm changing the prices of all my stuff real quick. No cursing. Yeah, you're keeping it at 1,500. In real life word ban, sing mode. I'm gonna make that less. I'm gonna make that like 1,000. Make that a little bit easier. Let's see. You okay, babe? So I changed all of the pricing on all of the imagery in Twitch. I don't know about TikTok. I don't know how to do that in TikTok. So, okay. Sorry y'all. I've just been trying to like run through this real quick. For any of you guys that are on Twitch still, I don't know if many of you guys are, if you're not gamers, then I'm just letting you know I'm streaming on both. Did y'all get to see my earrings today? I made bacon and egg earrings, and I'm wearing them, and I'm so glad for it. I don't know why. So, bacon and eggs. Hey, Whiplash Foxtrot. Matthew Puckett. Throw it in the Puckett bucket. So, hey, I just found the farm. So, yeah. It finally stopped raining after like 2 days of non-stop raining. Alright, so now we're on Tuesday. Okay, we have not transferred anything over from Monday because we don't have the book yet. Background ASMR noises by Jeff. Hey, Swag Dog. So today is a good day to move forward on any goals that you have, overcoming challenges and gaining victory. For some of you guys, you might be changing your address soon. Definitely a good day for introspection and balancing generosity. So if you've been over giving to people lately, it's a good day to kind of reassess yourself and build from this week, okay? So whatever you guys are doing right now, like this is the absolute best time to sit down and really think about what it is that you want to do for your future. I know a lot of us don't even see a future, but it really is a good time to sit down and really think about how do you want, you know, your future self to be. Okay. Morning messages, like I said, move forward towards goals today. Live sites today, we're only on Twitch and TikTok. I don't have the other two set up, but I did transfer over the videos to YouTube, so for those of you who are on my YouTube. Weather check, like I said, it's been kind of crazy. We had a lot of like thunderstorms lately. So now it's sunny, but I don't know for how long. Morning routine, I actually didn't. I haven't been lately. That's really bad. I shouldn't do But I did clean up the bathroom. I didn't do that yesterday. So for those of you who need to switch loads or do whatever it is that you need to do, so be it. Rewards percentage for this live is at 5%. Yay! Swag Dog Porter just dank. Well. How are you all doing today? Mr. Rock 1. So yeah, wardrobe. I actually don't have this in my OOTD. I have not worn this in a long time, so I may take photos today for the OOTD photo shoot. Media management today is threads, lemonade, and your fans. So make sure that you're posting, if you're having to go outside of the normal posting, look into stories or monetization, because we're trying to get all of our socials monetized now. On threads, I don't know how you would get monetized on threads or lemonade. I have now changed some things up on my TikTok, the same as I did for my Twitch, because of the fact that we're trying to become monetized and we're trying to get the money flowing through all of these social media sites that I'm on every single day anyways. I'm going to be doing things according to tiers, as well as now I will have series. So for those of you who are content creators in TikTok, you have a lot of options now. For those of you who are viewers, you guys actually have a lot of options now too. So I really wouldn't like lean towards all these trendy videos and stuff like that. I would kind of like give it a little bit and let it settle. But yes, watch them. Yes, take notes. But I wouldn't jump into anything right away. One tip of advice that I did get is changing my TikTok from business to personal. For the seller site and for the seller side of it, for me personally, I ended up starting to get an income now. Now, mind you, this is like pennies. For those of you who do like the samples and stuff like that, I don't know if y'all experienced this. I ordered a bunch of samples, never freaking got them. Timed out on the video chance to get the money back, like the commissions or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden now, because of that timeout, now all of my stuff is refundable samples. It's no longer free samples anymore. So has anybody else experienced this, or is there something that I need to do? Please let me know. But yeah, I'm kind of a little perturbed about the fact that I ordered stuff and never got it, and then now because I never got it, I can't make a video on it. Go figure, right? So anyway, media management, like I said, make sure that you're posting. Learn more about each one of the sites. Post according to tiers, or you could tier other socials. As well as, like, if you're an affiliate to somewhere, make sure that you're sharing your links and promoting yourself. For those of you who are on Whatnot, like I said, I did just start, so bear with me. eBay, I did add new items. I reviewed the sales. We did like $186 worth of sales according to eBay, but that's not accurate. Anytime that you go and start an eBay account as a seller, I'm going to go ahead and tell you those numbers are not right. Those are eBay numbers. Those are not your numbers. For Etsy, I did not add anything new yet, but I need to, so let me put that a note in here. House chores today are actually kitchen and washroom. So, like, if you guys have a separate bathroom area, or not bathroom, washing, like your clothing, your dishwasher, your any kind of thing that you would have in a washroom, like your sink, your counters. Maybe you have like a laundry room that's separate. For me, we have our washer and dryers in two separate places. So basically just like a quick wipe down, make sure the outlets are good, because you know dust collects really quickly there. Your vents are good. Even though it's summer, you know, you want to make sure that these things are clear. Kitchen, always good to wipe down your countertops as well as clean out your refrigerator. And switch loads for anybody who needs to know. Today is Tasty Tuesday, so we're going to do meal plan and order. I'm not going to actually do the order, but I am going to set it up. So for those of you who like to order your groceries online and stuff like that, please let me know, because I love doing that. Hey, Jules and Val Whitman. Hope you're having a good day. Good Tuesday. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and run through the meal plan and order. I'm going to do an inventory first, which isn't very hard because we don't carry a lot of stuff in the house on a regular basis. I actually kind of like that because it's like a high turnover rate for the food, and then you can switch it up whenever you want to. And then today is numbers and actual budget. So for those of you who are not interested in that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to do an inventory. I'm going to run through it in my mind real quick, and I'll complete it later, but I actually do already have paperwork for that. Now, it'll be in the PDF as well. As soon as I can find it. This is a big book. This is what I call the big book, because it is a big book. Alright, so today is Tuesday. Meals, numbers, and actual budget. So, first thing, we're going to review. Nothing to review, because we haven't bought anything. Inventory, meal plan, order, any kind of worksheets and websites, if you guys have any questions, and what we'll be doing next week. We're also going to look at local resources. So, or look into local resources, something that y'all should be doing also. So, okay, so I've got Tuesday in my hand. Bear with me, I'm eating breakfast while I'm talking about. Alright. I got this inventory list from 101planners.com. Y'all can use whatever you want. I also handwritten a have and need, but you don't have to do that. This meal planner is the one that I actually really like. It gives you the days on the side and a grocery shopping list that you can just put it on your refrigerator or whatever if you're old school like that, paper-wise. For those of you who are digital, tell me how you do it. Okay? For those of you who have it where you can just talk to an electronic and it'll add it to the grocery list, tell me how to do it. I want to learn. So, right now, I pretty much just old school it and print it out myself. I'll actually take a photocopy, like scan a copy of it, and then put this back in the original. This is the master copy. Never gets written on, never gets used for anything. This is the original master copy, and I just make copies of it each time I make the order. So I like using that one specifically. There are other ones that include like an item, quantity, or expiration date. For those of you who don't have a high turnover rate in your food, like maybe you have a deep freezer or like you utilize your freezer a lot. Actually, I can just use this one. Make sure that you're putting your expiration dates, and also check your expiration dates every week. We also look at coupon and discount sites or apps, any kind of printable coupons, apps, in-store apps, dual use, like paper and online. You can double them up sometimes. Local resources. To receive, we're going to look at food pantries, co-ops, trading, and discounted or government programs. For those of you who like to give or donate, think about shelters, schools, DSS, local community, and possibly having like a free-for-all. Like if you're done with your yard sale and you're not selling anything, and then like it's the end of the day, consider donating those yard sale items to a local place that actually gives the stuff to the people that actually need it. Okay? I'm all for Goodwill. You know for a fact that I go there and I shop all the time. But, and you know, I'm not discrediting the donating to them, but I would like to see it get donated to somebody that can actually use it. So, not that I can't use it. I'm just saying. Here's another version of a grocery list. You guys can check out your own however you want to. I was just using these as examples. Walmart does give a printable grocery list by aisle for those of you who are into that kind of thing, who actually go in the store and you go by aisle. I always suggest that you do a large loop around the grocery aisles. Like, don't go down the aisleways first. Like, go the vegetables, meat, dairy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the outskirts of the actual aisleways. Those are going to be your primaries, as well as those have the least amount of additives. So, thinking healthy, you know, that way. Meal planning, like I said, I do like this one. This is the actual, like, the first one that I ever used. I downloaded this, and I don't think it's available anymore. I actually have a copy of this if you guys want this. I may be actually adding this to the PDF, too. Yeah, to PDF. I got this from Sage Lilyman on YouTube. She actually was doing like a 1950s housewife routine thing for like a week, and this was on it. And it was like part of this huge booklet that came with it, right? But for some reason, I don't know why the link is not accurate, the one that I had. So I downloaded it, and I've just been printing it off. But ever since it's been, like, that link has been messed up, I've just been, like, holding on to it for dear life. I shouldn't, but, you know, anyway. So meal planning, yes, it does help with your finances and being able to, you know, spread stuff out a little bit longer. I know for a fact that every single time that Jeff and I go out to eat, it's like $10 to $15 a person. And that's like on a cheap level, right? So you're thinking like fast food, you know, most of the restaurants today, like if you go in and like say if it's just like a real quick go in, sit down and eat and then come back out, not like fancy, you know what I mean? Usually they're like $10 to $15 a person. Now it's starting to get closer to $15 to $20 a person just to go out to eat. At least in my area. Now, for those of you who are in different areas or wherever you're at, tell me how much it is to go out to, like, I don't know, some cheap meal. Just something, like, real quick and easy. I don't know. I don't know, like, how much is a I'm trying to think now. For example, like, if you go to McDonald's, right? Not everybody goes to McDonald's, but for those of you who do, that's the first restaurant that I could think of that's like international. Hey, Ricky Bobby. For those of you who actually go out to eat every day, say for lunch or something like that, how much does your lunch cost every day? I'm just wondering, because pre-COVID pricing to now, I can't imagine y'all going out and buying lunch every day. I can't. There's no way. Y'all must be going broke like crazy if you are. For those of you who have the ability to utilize like a senior discount, I highly suggest you use it. Because I'll be honest with you. Specifically at KFC, okay, our local KFC offers senior discounts. Jeff and I go there, and I'm not even joking you, for both of us to eat, it's $12. And we both eat. So, I actually had a lady come up to me and tell me once, this is back when I was working in the lawn care and stuff like that, I had her come up to me, and we were standing in line, and it was like taking a long time. It was like Burger King or some nonsense. Anyway, so I'm standing in line, the lady behind me, you know, they're both older, and, you know, she says to me, you know, it's funny, it's cheaper for me to go out to eat every day than it is for me to buy groceries now. For her and her husband. It is. That's messed up. How is that even possible? That it's cheaper to go to a fast food restaurant than to buy groceries now. Specifically for, you know, they would both possibly had a senior discount, but either way. Even at 10%, let's just say that 10% is the senior discount, right? Even at a 10% senior discount, how is that still cheaper than buying groceries? When I personally spend $200 a month for us to go order groceries for the two of us. Make it make sense. You know what I mean? Stuff in this world doesn't make sense anymore. Like another thing too, I noticed, this is for all y'all to keep an eye out on, and y'all can test me on this if you want to. Every single grocery store, specifically Walmart, and yes, I'm calling y'all out. If I order online, I can spend $200 and buy an entire month's worth of stuff for $200. No problems. If I go in the store and purchase it, you're not going to see anywhere near that much stuff. You're just not. And now, mind you, I order it to pick it up. So they don't deliver it. I go pick it up. How is $200 filling up my car, but when I go to the store, it's like 2 bags? Make it make sense. Y'all need to watch out for the case of the missing quarter. If y'all have never heard that before, you need to look it up. But it's almost like a sense of like trickery for all of us. It's like if you know certain pathways, then you're the only one that's going to be able to get ahead. For the rest of us, it's like, okay, well, we're going to go by what you're telling us, but now we're struggling and we can't make it work and we don't know what we're doing because y'all did inflation so freaking high in the past 5 years that we can't even do anything anymore. A bottle of rubbing alcohol is $5. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's like a small bottle, too. Like, I'm just saying as an example. Like, this is insane. And then I hear about people all the time, like, that are telling me, like, oh, well, you know, you're doing better than other people. Or, you know, like, if you're doing it that way, then maybe you should look at this or look at this other way. I was like, well, if my way is working, why do it any other way? If me ordering online and actually getting a month's worth of food, I make the food, right? I prep it, I make it, I take the time to do it. And don't get me wrong, I understand not everybody's got the time to do that stuff. Yes, I always suggest meal prepping for like the week, especially if you have a family and you cook your own meals. I suggest like taking one day and just cook all the whole week. You know what I mean? But you can't always do that. So it's dependent on each person's situation too. Like, when do you get paid? That's all part of this whole, you know, actual budget thing. And it's just really mind-boggling to me. Anyway, so one way, like I said, you can run through and you can do your inventory first for the food that you actually have. If you're like me, I don't keep a lot of food on hand. Usually we would have, it used to be that we had the deep freezer and like I would make meals for the week ahead of time and like we would just pick and choose from whatever, right? Well, we ended up realizing that the more that we had that available, the less we actually ate it. It was weird. It was like I made an entire week's worth of food and then we went out to eat every day kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't match up. So when you go to do this, I know a lot of you guys don't have the finances to even think about, like, going out to eat. Like, going out to eat's like a luxury, you know? And so, but it's all dependent on what you're looking at. Like, if you actually look at the menus and the pricing versus, like, ordering buying the food, making it yourself, mind you, time, knowledge, equipment, extra stuff, because you're going to have like either electricity or gas or whatever source to cook the shit with, right? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other things that are added into it. So not just are you paying for, you know, the food, but now you got to pay for the gas to go pick it up, right? Part of that is the packaging, so it's already in the pricing. And then you have the electricity to keep it cold, the electricity to cook it if you just use electric, you know, to cook with. So you're not just putting the money into food, you're putting it into all of this other stuff also, plus your time, anything that you'd have to add to it, because, you know, recipes don't just take 1 or 2 things. So you have to add that other cost into it too. So if you actually took every single meal that you cooked and broke it down comparatively to the pricing for going out to eat, I could see that. I could see where that would be cheaper and better, and like time-wise and cleanup-wise and everything, right? The convenience of fast food, or however you want to call it, right? Now, on top of that, now you're looking at health. So the side of it, of the fast food side, usually fast food is not healthy for you. When I was traveling for work, it was really hard for me to find food that was not like completely saturated, fried, you know, just whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's healthy choices on the menus now, but when I was driving around, I really wasn't. And so like taking the time to learn all those things in each one of those places that are, even if it's near you, you know, is it worth it to risk your health now because it's cheaper to go out to eat and easier, cheaper and easier equaling, you know, bad for you. And then at the same time, like, is it easier and cheaper to make food at home where it's healthier and you can pick and choose whatever it is and cook it yourself, but now you have to purchase all this other stuff, or you have to pay for all this other stuff. Plus, you got to take time to do it, which most people nowadays don't even really want to do. I don't know how many times, like, my kids have had food, like, Grubhub's, and I'm talking, like, a cheeseburger and a shake, and it ended up being $50. What? You know? So, it's really like, okay, well, where are you comfortable at, and what can you do, and where can you do it at? And do you have the time and energy? Like, a lot of us nowadays, well, a lot of people nowadays, they're so inundated with everything that's going on in the world, on top of having to work, having to pay for bills, having to do house chores, or whatever it is that you're doing wherever you're at. And, like, it just seems like there's so much, and then we're being, like, drowned in this information. You know, especially, like, when you have all these things coming towards you. Pretty much on a daily basis. So, you know, having to make smart choices with food is really difficult, especially if you don't have the finances to do it, the time to do it, the ability to do it, and the tools you need to do it, and the food. So, you know, you got to think too is that, you know, not everybody has access to everything. You know, not everybody has a pot and pan set. They just don't. You know what I mean? So, you know, and everybody's got to come from somewhere. They've got to do something for themselves in some way. So, that's why I also kind of encourage for you guys to look up local resources. Even if you're not the one that needs the help, you can donate to said services. You can donate food, you can donate money, you can donate clothes, furniture, electronics, everything that you would normally donate to Goodwill. You can actually donate to, like, schools and DSS and shelters and hospitals. You don't know how many hospitals in your area actually take donations for clothing and stuff. And they rely on that. Like, especially mental health care hospitals, they don't have anything. You have to purchase clothes for them and send it to them. Especially if your child or whoever is sent across the state and you can't drive there to bring them their clothes because they can't transport it with them. They can only transport with them what they brought with them. So, think like that too. Think outside the box of your normalcy, of what you would normally do. And, you know, I'm giving you guys a lot of information here. So, okay. So meal planning, like I said, as far as the order, I know for a fact that we have, like, beef and fish, and I think we still have chicken, pasta. I can make pizza. We could do breakfast for dinner one night. And then other I put on there in case if you do want to go out. I would suggest, like, leaning more towards, like, a traditional vibe of only going out once in a while, unless that's what works best for you. So I already have written on here meat, veggie, pasta, random, pizza, breakfast for dinner, and other. So I'll put fish and chicken. We're meat eaters. For those of you who are not meat eaters, you start with your main, right? And then you have your two sides. So I always suggest for you guys, part of my mandatory 5 is that you have one full meal a day. This is part of that planning. So another thing is too, Jeff and I are trying to lose weight. It's been a battle. It's been a struggle, y'all. So, less carbs, less sugars, more proteins, and more water is what we've been doing. So, as far as like, you know, you have to look at, are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to change your diet? Are you changing the way that you eat? Because now you got to look at the finances for that. Vegetarian food is very expensive. I don't know about y'all, but my parents are vegetarians, and the food that they purchase is unreal. Oh, I found out that this is a color changing cup. So this is fruit, ice, pump mix, and a Gatorade, not a Gatorade. What are those things called? Babe? What are those drinks called? We get them at the Dollar General, but they're like Gatorades. If you have like a Dollar Tree or Dollar General still in your area, I always suggest looking into those. Also, like, look at some places that have where you can use online coupons as well as.
Called, hydration drinks.
Oh, okay, so hydration drink from Dollar General.
Yeah,
Ice.
Stock.
Yeah, if they have them in stock. So hydration drink, ice, frozen fruit, mostly strawberries, some pineapples and peaches, pump, and then, like I said, the hydration drink. I think I said that already. I don't know. But it's really freaking good. And like I said, I didn't know that this was a color changing cup until after I poured it in there, and I was like, so cute. So. Anyway. I don't have a specific time when I'm live. I just kind of go live whenever. So, hope y'all enjoy that. Alright, so for vegetables, I grew the garden, so I'm trying to add more tomatoes, peppers, jalapenos, some mesclun, which is like a salad mix, and I was trying to add corn, but the freaking raccoons ate it, and cucumbers. So I actually did make my own special blend of cucumbers, of pickles, the other day. I just basically took a cucumber out of the garden, sliced it up really thin, and put it in a jar, and then I poured the pickle juice from another pickle container in it, and I just let it sit, and damn if it wasn't fucking good. Because, you know, it absorbs after a while. So, hey Amir and Michael and John. So yeah. Some meats. Today, like I said, we're going to do fish and vegetables. I do have that chicken, so I'm going to have to do... I may just do like a chicken Alfredo tomorrow. The random one, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for that day. And then pizza, we're make a homemade pizza, which is a little weird. The texture of it's a little weird, but it might be doing it wrong. Breakfast for dinner and other. So, when you make your first part of your list, I don't know if you guys can even see this. Okay. So when you make the first part of the list, you have all of the main part of the meal, right? Then you just add the sides. And unless you have like a recipe keeper or something like that, maybe you could pull from and just be like, okay, maybe it's separated out into sections and you can just like pull a recipe and then just run with it. I don't know. I don't know what you guys have. So, for the most part, spices and stuff like that, we pretty much have the same exact spices. And I have to kind of switch it up so this way all the meals don't taste the same. So I like to go into the spice aisle, and every once in a while, I will just pick out like one random spice. And it'll just switch up the meals, and it just it's even though it's the same food, it just makes it taste different, and it feels like it's all brand new again. So, I'm going to put, for the grocery list, spices. Now, like I said, I'm going to have to completely restock all the meat. So, meat. For dairy, because I like to go section by section. For dairy, I know for a fact that we're going to have to get milk. And Jeff likes cheese. I like cheese. So, we already got butter, so I don't need that. I usually get like yogurt or something like that, but I don't know if I'm going to get that this time. Let's see. You can also use this aisle by aisle thing to kind of like look at. So this way you can jog your memory in case if you're not right directly in front of the kitchen. Or wherever you eat at. So, fresh produce. I'm just going to put veggies. I usually have a small list. Meat, deli, sandwich meat. And I already put cheese. Dairy and eggs. We're on the last sheet of eggs. Now, I buy the big box of eggs. Big box of eggs. And usually it's like $25 for this box of eggs, but this last time for some reason it was $13, and I was like, hell yeah. If I could have bought 2 boxes, I probably would have, but I don't think they would have lasted very long. Bread and bakery. So bread. You can make your own bread also. It's not terribly hard. And it doesn't have to be fancy, just whatever. I don't think we really need anything from the bakery. Frozen. I'm going to put frozen fruit. We typically like to get ice cream, which is not good, but we do the 0 sugars. Not that that's much of a difference because it's ice cream. Hey, Shima? Yep, I'm sorry. I probably said your name wrong, sorry. Okay, so frozen. I kind of want to throw those on the oven there. I'll look at that. Pantry, like I said, spices. I do need some vanilla amount. I have flour, I have sugar, we have coffee, tea. I'm trying to think dry goods. Beans, rice, pasta, peanut butter. Breakfast and cereal. So cereal. Mind you, this is a rerun, so this is a reorder. Baking. I don't think you really need anything other than maybe chocolate chips, but that's about it. Beverages. I do need my drink mix. And Jeff needs his protein drinks. He gets like his milk thing anyway. Candy and snacks, no. Organic foods. I don't normally purchase organic foods or alcohol or gluten-free foods. So for me, those last 4 categories are pretty much null and void. So that's it right there. That's a good start for a grocery shopping list. Now I already have most of it already preset in my Walmart online. So Montier Hay. Like I said, you can just like stick this on your refrigerator or like wherever you cook at, and then you can like make the meal plan, and as you run out of stuff, you can write on the grocery shopping list. Like say if you're in the middle of cooking, like I know I do this all the time. I'll be in the middle of cooking and I'll run out of something and I'll just set it to the side. Well, if I set the empty container to the side, Jeff's going to throw it out. So I have to write it down, or I have to like put it somewhere else. So this way he doesn't throw it out, or like, you know, if I run out of something, I need to know like kind of right then, you know, to write it down. So I know for a fact that I did run out of certain spices, like I said, and I will go look. I do have an empty container out there somewhere. Alright, so there's that. So the meal plan's been done, the inventory's been done, the grocery shopping list's been done. Literally that fast. And I'll add a couple of things to it, but that's pretty much it. So I will do the online order later as I walk through the rest of this with y'all. Alright. So there's that part for Tasty Tuesday. Y'all let me know. I actually used to do a where I would have you guys pick out a number between 1 and 100, I think. And I would pick out of a recipe book like what I was going to make, something different, right? I was thinking about that. I used to do that. I don't know if I can do that anymore, but I'll think about it. So I'm going to write add, pick a recipe, number, generator. Yeah. Okay, so for numbers, and if y'all have any questions, please let me know. You guys can ask at any point in time during the stream, just so you know. Don't be afraid to interrupt me. Alright, so numbers, review. We don't have any numbers to review right now. Website and worksheets. One of the websites that we do work with is called everydollar.com. And it's part of the Dave Ramsey group. But it's free. And it's something that you or your kids could use. And then worksheets, at the very least, even if you could just write it down. Right? Personal learning, I'm going to pull up Khan Academy again. Just letting you know. We're going to go into, for the personal learning on Khan Academy, oh Lord. Oh, my cup is like leaking everywhere. Oh, it's just condensation. It's cold. Drank. Anyway. So, what was I saying? Okay, Khan Academy. .org, and we're going to go into pre-algebra. Okay, so it's been a hot minute. Y'all bear with me, because it's, like I said, it's been a hot minute. Academy. It's an education company. It's free. Y'all can check it out. I'm going to split screen it with y'all for a second once I get logged in, so you guys can follow with me. So today for numbers, you guys are learning along with me. I personally have a 4th grade math education level. I'm currently trying to reteach myself math, okay? Technically, I probably should have started back at like adding and subtracting. Just relearning everything all over again. But we're going to go into the pre-algebra, and we're going to resume where we left off with factors and multiples. I'm currently at 40%. So I'm going to share split screen with y'all. Might be crazy for a second. Okay. I don't know if it's going to do it. There we go. Maybe. Come on. Why is it not working? Alright, well, I'm going to try to continue going in through this. Alright, for those of you who are on my Twitch, I'm going to flip it around. Ah! Why is it doing this? Can y'all see? Oh, whoops. What? Why is it working? Okay, here we go. Never mind. Sorry. I'm trying to get it to work. Anyway. Alright. So, khanacademy.org, like I said, right now we're understanding factor pairs. For fair warning, these are all videos. So, I got 100% 9 months ago. No, I don't want to take the quiz again. Alright, so we're going to go to prime and composite numbers. Oh, Lord. Okay. Now I get to see how how weak I am at this. Ready to practice. Let's go. Okay. Oh my god, no. Okay, hold on. No! Wait, I don't remember. Hold on. I need a refresher. I don't remember what I'm doing. Alright. This is actually really cool, too. I don't know if it's going to play because... Oh, this is on YouTube. Even better.
In this video, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to be a prime number. And what you'll see in this video, or what you'll hopefully see in this video, is it's a pretty straightforward concept, but as you progress through your mathematical careers, you'll see that there's actually fairly sophisticated concepts that can be built on top of the idea of a prime number. And that includes the idea of cryptography, and maybe some of the encryption that your computer uses right now could be based on prime numbers. If you don't know what encryption means, don't have to worry about it right now. Just need to know that prime numbers are pretty important. So I'll give you a definition, and the definition might be a little confusing, but when we see it with examples, it should hopefully be pretty straightforward. So a number is prime if it is a natural number, and a natural number, once again, just as an example, these are like the numbers 1, 2, 3. So essentially the counting number starting at 1, or you could say the positive integers. It is a natural number divisible by exactly two numbers, or two other natural numbers. Actually, I shouldn't say two other. I should say two natural numbers. So it's not two other natural numbers, divisible by exactly two natural numbers. One of those numbers is itself, and the other one is 1. Those are the two numbers that it is divisible by, and that's why I didn't want to say exactly two other natural numbers, because one of the numbers is itself. And if this doesn't make sense for you, let's just do some examples here and figure out if numbers are prime or not. So let's start with the smallest natural number, the number 1. So you might say, well, look, 1 is divisible by 1, and it is divisible by itself. You might say, hey, 1 is a prime number. But remember, part of our definition, it needs to be divisible by exactly two natural numbers. 1 is divisible by only one natural number, only by 1. So 1, although it might be a little counterintuitive, is not prime. Let's move on to 2. So 2 is divisible by 1 and by 2, and not by any other natural numbers. So it seems to make our constraint. It has 2, it's divisible by exactly two natural numbers, itself, that's 2 right there, and 1. So 2 is prime. And I'll circle the prime numbers. I'll circle them. Well, actually, let me do it in a different color since I already used that color for the... Well, I'll just circle them. I'll circle the numbers that are prime. Now let's 3. And 2 is interesting because it is the only even number that is prime. If you think about it, any other even number is also going to be divisible by 2, above and beyond 1 and itself, so it won't be prime. We'll think about that more in future videos. Let's try out 3. Well, 3 is definitely divisible by 1 and 3, and it's really not divisible by anything in between. It's not divisible by 2, so 3 is also a prime number. Let's try 4, and I'll switch to another color here. Let's try 4. Well, 4 is definitely divisible by 1 and 4, but it's also divisible by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. It's also divisible by 2. So it actually has, it's divisible by 3 natural numbers, 1, 2, and 4. So it does not meet our constraint for being prime. Let's try out 5. So 5 is definitely divisible by 1. It's not divisible by 2. It's not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 4. Exactly divisible by 4. You could divide them into it, but you would get a remainder. But it is exactly divisible by 5, obviously. So once again, it's divisible by exactly two natural numbers, 1 and 5. So it, once again, 5 is prime. Let's keep going just so that we see if there's any kind of a pattern here. And then maybe I'll try a really hard one that tends to trip people up. So let's try the number 6. It is divisible by 1. It is divisible by 2. It is divisible by 3, not 4 or 5, but it is divisible by 6. So it has 4 natural number factors, I guess you could say it that way. And so it does not have exactly 2 numbers that is divisible by. It has 4, so it is not prime. Let's move on to 7. 7 is divisible by 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but it's also divisible by 7. So 7 is prime. I think you get the general idea here. How many natural numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the numbers that you learned when you were 2 years old, not including 0, not including negative numbers, not including fractions and irrational numbers and decimals and all of the rest, just regular counting positive numbers. If you have only 2 of them, if you're only divisible by yourself and 1, then you are prime. And the way I think about it, if we don't think about the special case of 1, prime numbers are kind of these building blocks of numbers, that you can't break them down anymore. They're almost like the atoms. If you think about what an atom is, or what people thought atoms were when they thought it was kind of the thing that you couldn't divide anymore. We now know that you could divide atoms, and actually if you do, you might create a nuclear explosion. But it's the same idea behind prime numbers. In theory, and prime numbers is not theory, we know you can't break them down into products of smaller natural numbers. Things like 6, you could say, hey, 6 is 2 times 3. You can break it down. And notice, we can break it down as a product of prime numbers. We've kind of broken it down into its parts. 7, you can't break it down anymore. All you can say is that 7 is equal to 1 times 7. And in that case, you really haven't broken it down much. You just have the 7 there again. 6, you can actually break it down. 4, you can actually break it down as 2 times 2. Now, with that out of the way, let's think about some larger numbers and think about whether those larger numbers are prime. So let's try 16. So clearly any number is divisible by 1 and itself. So any natural number you put up here is going to be divisible by 1 and 16. So you're always going to start with 2. So if you can find anything else that goes into this, then you know you're not prime. And 16, you could have 2 times 8. You can have 4 times 4. So it's got a ton of factors here above and beyond just the 1 and 16. So 16 is not prime. What about 17? 1 and 17 will definitely go into 17. 2 doesn't go into 17. 3 doesn't go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. None of those numbers. Nothing between 1 and 17 goes into 17. So 17 is prime. And now I'll give you a hard one. This one can trick a lot of people. What about 51? Is 51 prime? Is 51 prime? And if you're interested, maybe you could pause the video here and try to figure out for yourself if 51 is a prime number. If you can find anything other than 1 or 51 that is divisible into 51. It seems like, wow, this is kind of a strange number. You might be tempted to think it's prime, but I'm now going to give you the answer. It is not prime because it is also divisible by 3 and 17. 3 times 17 is 51. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what prime numbers are all about, and hopefully we can give you some practice on that in future videos or maybe some of our exercises.
Okay, thanks. All right. So there is the one that I was getting ready to do. Identifying prime numbers. All right. So to practice, which one of these numbers is prime? So prime number is one, like you said, that only goes one or itself. Right? So can't be divided by anything else. So I'm going to break out my handy dandy calculator. You're not always going to have a calculator on you at all times. Yes, I will. I'll make sure of it. I will put my calculator in a holster on the side of my hip. Oh wait, I already do. It's called my phone. So, alright, so 19 divided by 2. Nope. 19 divided by 2. Nope. 19 divided by 4. Nope. 19 divided by 5. It has to be a whole number. So 19 divided by 7. 19 divided by 8. 19 divided by 9. 19 divided by 10. 19 divided by 11. 19, 12. 19 divided by 2. That was a long way. Because I'm running through this real quick. Okay, so prime. Okay, here we go. Next question. Which one of these numbers is prime? So basically what you're doing is you're dividing the number by every possibility of number it is before it, right? So to see how many, because you can only have 2 natural numbers that go into it, alright? So, and now mind you, you're not going to want to sit here and click on this the entire time, going through every single one of these numbers. For those of you who actually know numbers, and you know a baseline of math, then you can do the numbers in your head, probably, right? Well, for the rest of us, we can't. So we have to figure it out. So, let's just say we divided by 2. 25 divided by 3. 25 divided by 4. Alright, so what is another easy way to figure out how to get to a prime number without having to go through all this nonsense, because it's unreal. So, yeah, divided by 2, then divided by 5. Okay, so that's a number. So there it automatically is not a prime number because it doesn't go into itself and 1 only. So 25 is not a prime, right? Because 5 goes into 25. What about 33? So you go 33 divided by 2. That's not a whole number. Okay, 33 divided by 3 is 11. So that's not a prime, right? 63 divided by 2. 63 divided by 3. There you go. That's not a prime. What about 64? Divided by 2. It's 32. So no. So 71 divided by 2. 71 divided by 3. I'm not going to go through this entirely. But the rest of them were not prime. So I'm going to check it out. And I was right. Deduction. 1 and 11 goes into 11. Let's see what else goes in. 11 divided by 2. 11 divided by 3. 11 divided by 4. 11 divided by 5. 6. And as you can tell, it's not. So 15 divided by 2, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that's not. 21 divided by 2, 21 divided by 3, that's not. 56 divided by 2, 28, no, not yet. So far, 11 is the only prime number. So 57 divided by 2. Yeah, 11 is the only prime number. Because it doesn't have anything other than itself. So, and he already said that 9 is divided by 3, and so we don't even have to do that. So 31 divided by 2, 31 divided by 3, 31 divided by 5, 31 divided by 9, 31 divided by 12, 31 divided by 13, 31 divided by 14, 31 divided by 16, 31 divided by 17, 31 divided by 15. Oh, whoops, 31 divided by 8, 31 divided by so that one doesn't have anything. So about 39. About 44. Well, we'd be divided by 2, yeah. 95 divided by 2, divided by 3, divided by 5, 19. Yep. So 31 seems to be the only answer. Oh, it's 39. Running with 59. Oh yeah, because he said on the thing that it was not prime. So 50. Uh, wait. Only has 2 neutrals. One itself. I like that it gives you another chance too. That's kind of cool. Alright. Alright. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to. Hey, I got in, Courtney. Sorry, I've just now seen the chat. Sorry. I'm trying to look through Twitch as well as on TikTok, so sorry. I got in, Courtney. Yeah, I'm not a numbers person. But thank you. Thank you for trying to help me out. I'm trying to get through this legitimately as much as possible. And like another thing too with numbers, once you start getting into them and you start getting used to them, it's not as bad. Okay, now don't get me wrong, it's still rough. But the more that you are in it and you're working with numbers and you're doing the math and stuff like that, if I was in math every single day, I would probably have been able to get up to speed by now. You know what I mean? But because I'm not, I have to go back and review. And I feel like that's what we have to do all the time, no matter how old we are. So yeah. I was figuring that like if I did like the basic ones and then now there are some rarities that like you can get like a 5 or something in there, or like a 9 or 13 minus 2 6.5. So yeah. I've earned a bonus question. Yay! Really? See, it's literally that quick. Okay, so as soon as you it goes ahead and you go, yay! But you do get, it's kind of fun. I find it very intriguing. And especially like no matter how old you are, it's very, I feel like this is very simple. So it's not like inundating. Like even if, okay, say for example, like I don't remember what a composite is. So I go down to the bottom and I watch the video again. It's only 4 minutes. You guys scroll through quicker than that. So, I mean, it's not a whole lot, right? And it gives you something to work with. And like I said, you know, everybody's going to start from different points. And it's okay to find your weaknesses, whatever your weakest point is, right? So, when I'm telling y'all about, like, continuing your education no matter how old you are, I'm literally meaning that, like, on a daily basis, like, as much as you possibly can, even if it's just for a few minutes. Y'all know for a fact that on the stream, I mean, I stream for about 2 or 3 hours a day, and I run through different things on each one of them. And in that time, on average, I'm scrolling through all of this stuff. All of it, right? Even if I'm just light touching on it, like talking about a couple of things, I'm still walking through all of this with y'all. So, sorry, hold on. I can't deal with the dual screen thing anymore. Because half the time it doesn't work. So, you know, continuing that, like I said, khanacademy.org is free. Okay, anybody can use it. They have full college courses on there. And, you know, there's no reason why you guys should not have the knowledge that you need with as much knowledge as there is available for you. It's just the fact that you're not going out there and getting it. Or you're not retaining it. Or maybe you're not understanding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be honest with you. I had a learning disability growing up. I had a speech impediment growing up. It was really hard for me to understand words and sentences. And then now when I read, it's like my brain just gets like, static right at the front. Now, whether that's from past traumas or maybe it's just, again, my learning disability or whatever, or the way that I learn is different. You know what I mean? So, and everybody's is going to be like that. Rewards percentage for this live is +3. Why did it go down? Honk. Anyway. I don't know if I followed you yet or not. There you go. I gave you a follow. There we go. Ending in 3 means it's divisible by 3. Okay, that's good. Eliminate evens. Yeah, try to. I have a joke for y'all. And it's the dumbest joke I ever heard in my life, but for some reason it stuck with me. Why are, and I know this is going to sound like racist, but this is the way the joke is. Why are white girls so odd? Or why are valley girls so odd? Here's your joke for the day. For anyone who's watching. Okay, y'all ready? It's because she can't even... It's like, I swear to God, it's the dumbest fucking joke I've ever heard in my life, but I can't stop laughing at it. Babe, why are white girls or valley girls so odd? Because they can't even... Anyway. I can't even make it funny. Okay, it's so stupid. It's such a dumb joke. I can't even make it funny. So, anyway. Next. Alright. So, there is personal learning. We did do one of those things on Khan Academy. I know I kind of just like rushed through it real quick. I don't know why I feel like so rushed whenever I do stuff. And I legitimately don't have anything to do. Like, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any certain schedule that I have to follow. But I always feel rushed. Like, even when I go out into town, like, say if we go to Goodwill or if we go to the gym or we go to the store, I'm always in a hurry to leave. And I never really understood that. Like, I've always been like that. Like, hurry, 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 hurry. Why? Why the fuck am I rushing? Like, just live life. You know what I mean? And be in the moment. It's hard. Okay. So, now that we have a basic understanding of, you know, what we can do to help our math, even at a lower level, and that's okay, even if nobody has to know. You know, you can do it in your own free time, away from everybody. You can work on your math skills and stuff like that, or whatever skills that you want. We're talking about numbers today, so that's why I brought that up. So, personal learning, already done. We're going to continue doing that. Do you guys have any questions about that or about numbers? I mean, because we're talking about business administration at some point. So, I mean, you got to think in that aspect. And it doesn't really matter. This goes for really any industry or any aspect of life, really. Knowing the rules or algebraic expressions for life or business or relationship or whatever you want to call it, right? I'll apply a knowledge baseline. Any kind of additional information gathering, because, you know, we gather information on a constant basis. Where the pivot points are, okay? Keep in mind that you can pivot at any point in time in your life. Tracking current versus baseline. Future look for goals, plans, and predictions. Worst case scenario versus best case scenario. What steps to take to get to the next level, as well as advice and questions. Actual next steps, because there is a difference in what your planned next steps are and actual next steps are. Reduce, reuse, and remove. That goes for all things in life. And kayak, clean as you go. So that's the same concept of cleaning up all of your surroundings, your work, your paperwork, your business, your sites, your You know, for those of you who are into coding, make sure your coding is lined right. Hey, Tim and Ahmad. For the business aspect of it, remember that you're wanting to invest at a 0% tax rate. um, as much as possible. The question is how can we get all of this stuff that we're doing right now into an actual business? And this is something that we're working on. We're working on building our credit. We're working on our finances. We're understanding how things work in the world today versus the way that it used to be. And looking at, like, what are the next, like I said, what are the next steps that we're trying to do? The next couple of months, we're going to be trying to become a business, like an actual legitimate business. So how are we going to incorporate all the things that we're doing into this one aspect? You know, in a cycle of business, much like that of, you know, your basic timeline of life, wherever that paper is, I keep losing this page. I need to post it somewhere. So much information in here. It's 5 years worth of work in just one book. It's crazy. Anyway, alright. So for those of you who haven't seen it, y'all go back and look. Timeline of life. Alright, future. Outbound is past. The flower of life going around, energy going outbound as well as inbound, and you do have options up to 4 on every single aspect of everything in your life. So, keeping in mind, now mind you, I'm just light touching on this, so there's positive and negative in all things, right? I'm trying to like lean it so y'all can both see it. So keeping in mind this is your every waking moment of every single day, okay? A business aspect is the same thing. It's a cycle, right? It's a cycle that loops itself back in and around at different points in time back to itself. The same thing in life. Same cycle, okay? Think Fibonacci sequence. Think Fibonacci sequence as well as the resonance, the Schumann's resonance, okay? So you have this energy push and pull that ends up happening all the time, all around us, every single day, from ourselves, from other things, all the time, right? There's never a stop and change. There's just constant change. So when you're looking at, sorry, I have like 2 different cameras in different directions here. Let me try to move this over. Sorry. Okay. Alright. So when you guys have this business aspect, the first thing that you're going to want to do is make a trust. No rich person on this planet wants anything A, in their name, B, taxable. Forget it. They don't want it. I don't blame them. I don't want to pay taxes either. But we pay taxes on everything, right? So why don't you make it so this way the taxes pay you instead of the business? Or both. Instead of you paying taxes, have the taxes pay you. See what I'm saying? Okay. Bear with me. So, business aspects, putting everything into a trust. Now, mind you, there's multiple reasons for this. If you put your business into a trust, A, if anything happens to you, God forbid, you do not have to worry about a family argument over who's getting what. You're literally assigning things to specific people and they cannot argue about it. They can't. There's no way for them to argue about it because they're only getting what was assigned to them. Okay? You can do a business loan to get this trust, by the way, which means that you have to get your credit and your work history up and stuff like that so you can get a business loan. I mean, unless there's other loopholes, let me know. Buy. So your purchase with said business loan is going to go back into investing into your trust, right? So you're going to buy land, products, or equipment. Okay, I highly always suggest buying land. I don't care who you are, how you get your money, buy land. Okay? It's going to be water, land, and oxygen are going to be the major commodities coming up now. Shipping. Okay? You can drop ship, which will actually end up like cutting a lot of your costs out. And I always suggest collaborating with local businesses or other people, like say in the streams, like the streamers or people who do things that are associated to whatever it is that you're doing. You have a processing portion of that. Okay, so somebody's going to be working with your product. Say, for example, if you have merch, You know, even if you drop ship it directly from like a site, like for me, I could technically order my merchandise to be delivered to somebody's house. I don't. I have it come to me first, and then whoever purchases it, whatever, because I'm not at that level yet, right? So you have your processing. Then you have stations, which means, like, for example, it could be like a brick and mortar store. It could be a website. It could be, like, say you're doing your business out of your house, which I'm doing, right? So I sell clothing and, like, stuff like that, like thrift stuff from my house. I print out the label here. I purchase the packaging, you know, maybe like $5 or $10 for like 25 bags. And I do that here. Okay? So I have a station here, which is my living room. Remember, we're investing into a trust. Taxes, write-offs. Okay? This is what we're looking for. You want to make every single aspect of your life pay you for your own freaking existence. Including, business aspect, including your internet, spaces in your house, your vehicles, the gas for your vehicles, which I don't know if that's a write-off anymore, but no, check it out. Your insurance, your internet, your purchasing items, like your products, your shipping stuff, your everything is a write-off, okay? And if I'm off a little bit, please let me know. But like, if you're an accountant or if you know anybody that's in accounting, they will tell you there's certain requirements that you have to meet. So looking at what the new regulations for 2026 are going to be, because remember, all the business aspects are changing now. Remember what I said about, like, everything that you used to do is not going to work anymore. Every aspect that you used to do, it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. It doesn't matter if you have a business or not. Everything that you used to do, every way that you used to do it is getting ready to change. This is legitimately, we're walking into the new world. The past 5 years have already explained this. So, going into the AI era, technology era, nobody leaving their house era, like, we've already started that. So COVID kind of kicked our ass as far as, like, you know, business aspects of those of us who had small businesses and like mom and pop shops. Okay, they all got fucked in that whole situation. Now, post-COVID, 5 years later, we're still struggling, but there are a lot more opportunities now through the internet, through sites like TikTok and stuff like this, where we don't have to have that brick and mortar store. We can just third-party sell. Drop shipping. We will never own the product. We will sell the item through the internet to a customer directly. We get a commission, and the seller sends the product directly to the customer. It's a great concept. How to get all of America to be your worker for free. I mean, how much money have y'all made? For those of you who did actually do commissions, did you guys actually make money? For those of you who are streaming live, I'm using TikTok Live Studio. I'm not seeing money from it. So all of these little streams that you're seeing of all these people showing all these numbers and stuff, it's bullshit. Because I'm actually doing it, and I'm showing you guys behind the scenes of how little is actually coming back from this. Now, if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. Please let me know, whatever it is that I'm doing wrong. But I am posting through TikTok Studio, right? The only time that I get any kind of money is when y'all send gifts. That's it. I don't get paid to go live. So I don't know what they're talking about as far as like, oh, well, download TikTok Studio, you'll get paid to go live. No, the fuck you won't. No, you won't. And if I'm, like I said, if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. So, you know, we're all kind of looking at, like, what are more ways of us being able to make money as well as put that money and invest that money back into ourselves. So, another thing, like I said, housing. Say, for example, if you do the old school way where you have a brick and mortar store, you have employees, you have all of this overhead, right? That's a way of the past. The way of the future now is drop shipping. Doesn't make any sense. Also, companies being corporatized, land being corporatized. So if you have a farm, go ahead and look forward to solar people or other kind of third-party corporation companies coming in and trying to rent out your land I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And I know that they're gonna like price you out of your land at some point, and it's ridiculous. It's literally a land grab right now for countries. Okay, not companies. Countries are coming in and buying land. For example, China. China is coming in with solar companies to purchase up farmland in America. They're not actually buying the land. They're renting your land and putting their products out there, and they're killing off your crops. They're killing off your family, your kids, your everything, your animals, everything. Those solar things put off more electricity than anything else. And anything living within a certain range of them is going to die of some kind of horrible disease within the first year. It's just too much. Earth can't handle that. Like, we can't handle that. So, have fun with that. Now you can remember, like I said, as far as insurance having their hands in everything right now, if you think about it, as of right now, we're mandatory to have insurance on our vehicles. I'm wondering when health insurance is going to be mandatory. You have loans that have insurance, overhead that has insurance, vehicles have insurance, workers, buildings, space, all of that insurance is involved with. Okay, and if you think more on it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, as far as like a business loan, putting that back into the trust or LLC, any kind of purchases, you're going to probably have to put an upfront fee for that. Shipping, you're going to have to pay for the delivery. Processing, you're going to have to pay for labor. Stations, and especially if you have multiple locations, you're going to have to pay for that, like space, whether it's a website or, if it's virtual or in real life. And housing, like, you're going to have to live somewhere, right? So find a way to have it to where it pays for it to be there, right? Okay, so insurance is a part of all aspects. Who owns the insurance companies? What insurance covers all aspects of business? So when you're getting ready to go into a business mindset, you have to understand every single aspect of it, which includes what kind of insurance to choose for your business, right? Say, for example, even if you're digital, you're still going to have to pay for insurance for yourself. Products, housing stations, and streaming. Why are they umbrellaing everything in the United States, no matter what industry? Also taxes. So taxes, insurance are a part of everything, and it's like triple, quadruple, 10 times over. And I'm starting to wonder, this is a conversation that Jeff and I had, how much is the dollar actually worth? Because if you think about it now, how much is that dollar, that $1 taxed from the time you get it? Say, for example, you get an income from a job, right? That dollar is taxed for Medicaid, for your retirement, and if you have any other money coming out of it, ahead of time. Some people do that. They split up their paycheck and they have it go to a savings, a certain amount. So, I don't know if that's taxed. If it comes out before you, I don't know. I don't know how it works. Anyway, so you have say, for example, you get your money, you get taxed on it from when you get your paycheck, okay? If you go pay for gas, at least in North Carolina, for every dollar that is charged for your gas, I think it's like 75 cents of that actually goes back to like the state and stuff. So if you look on the actual gas pump, sometimes they actually have like a listing of exactly what the charges are, like for each aspect of what the gas cost is. So if you go and look at that, you'll see like the state takes a certain amount, like it's divided up by a couple of different things. But yeah, you're taxed for every dollar that you put into gas. Okay? On top of, now mind you, you're not getting that full dollar's worth of gas. You're only getting a portion of that. Okay? So you get charged at your paycheck, you get charged at the gas station, okay? So you've already put away, let's just say, a certain percentage of your income into taxes. That's just two things, right? Don't worry about food and stuff, because I don't know if you wherever you live, you might get charged taxes for food too. I don't know if North Carolina does or not. So you haven't even left yet. Your vehicle has got insurance. So the roads that you're driving on are taxed. The air that you breathe because of emissions, you're getting taxed. Because that's in the gas. That's emissions is in the gas too. So, and then you go home and you have home insurance, home taxes for your land taxes. Or if you're in an apartment, like, I don't know how that works as far as apartment. I don't think I've ever lived in an apartment. Yeah, I did. Okay, never mind. It wasn't mine, but anyway, I roommated it. Anyhow, so I don't know how apartments work, but, you know, you have your utility bills. Babe, do your utility bills get taxed? I can't remember. Anyway, so you go to buy your food. You have food tax. Like everywhere that you go, everything, you go buy clothes. Say even if you need a uniform for work, you get taxed on the uniform. So it's like every single aspect. Thank you for being here for the Uno game that I didn't play. Uno game, thanks. Okay, that's great. Mr. Optimism, yeah, good. There you go. Anyway, so everything that you're paying into all these taxes, right? So when the fuck do we see them back? Only once a year. The government sees it all the time, every single day from all of us. But when we see it is once a year. When we give our taxes. So my point is, how much of that can I get back? How much of my dollar in gas, 75 cents of that going towards taxes, how much of that can I get back? How many 10 cents of taxes on my food for one item, like a freaking candy bar or something? Candy bars are expensive as shit now anyways. So I'm just saying as an example, right? So the point is that you want to have all of this money that you're putting out into the world come back to you as much as possible. And the only way that I know to do that is in your taxes. So consider talking to an accountant. You know, even if you have to, like, walk into, like, an H&R Block or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something simple, like, just, oh, you know, I have a couple questions. How would I do this? And find out what write-offs are allowed anymore. Because it keeps changing. You know, can you write off supplies, space, buildings, housing? Can I pay my own workers through my business? Because now that I have a trust, I can actually pay myself and my children through the trust. So, paying your workers, your kids, yourself, gas and vehicles, okay? I don't know how many people have worked at a company that they had a gas card. Same thing. You can have a gas card for yourself, for your own business. Your vehicle can be a write-off. Meals per person per day. Now, I know for a fact that one of the companies that I worked at had $60 a day. $60 a day in personal meals that I was allowed to write off. I actually took myself out to Valentine's at a freaking really expensive restaurant. And yeah, probably illegal. Anyway, don't do that. So, meals per person per day, and also your internet and cell phone. All of these things, as far as I know, are all write-offs when you come to a business. Now, if you're running a business out of your home, why are you not using this information? Sorry for loud noise. So, trying to get my point across here. So yeah, I mean, you just got to look at it. You know, you can do something seasonally. You can do something only for the holidays. You can have special items where, you know, like you're doing like what I'm doing with the selling and stuff. You can have a boutique if you want to do the storefront thing. Don't forget to upcycle things as well. Like if you're able to reuse something or make something new from what you already had. And allow time for like projects and for building on your business. Whatever that might be. Okay? Don't forget to invest into yourself also. When you're looking into a business aspect, you got to be serious about some finances, okay? Because that money will go faster than you ever imagined. Just like in real life. You know what I mean? So, I don't know where I'm going with this. I wrote down notes now. Oh, that was for eBay. Okay. Okay. Yep. It's Sunday. Why is that out? Hold on. I messed up now. Okay, yeah. So keeping expenses down as much as possible. You want to have like the littlest overhead as possible. So close the gap in that algebraic expression. Reread pinned retail expressions page. Oops. I wrote a note for myself and I forgot to do it. Which is, uncommon for me. Thrift purchases to selling supplies. For me personally, update prices, eBay profit. You're going to have your overall revenue minus the expenses is your profit. The sold price and shipping minus the item cost, shipping, listing fees, revenue fees, shipping supplies, printing, blah, blah, blah. Another alternative way is to look at the retail price minus the cost price plus any kind of fees, and then there's your profit. But that's like a math work through anyway. And don't forget to like inventory each aspect of what it is that you're doing. Okay, a lot of us overlook a lot of stuff that we don't realize may or may not be like really beneficial to us, or something that could be detrimental to us because we don't have all the knowledge. You know what I mean? So sometimes either taking the time to review stuff or having someone else look at it real quick will help you to be able to catch those like little misses and any kind of gaps that you might have in it. This is just a whole bunch of numbers and stuff that I'm working with the eBay and stuff, so I'm just going to put that to the side. Alright, so let's set that down for a second. So going back to Khan Academy, like I said, we're still doing the pre-algebra. I personally have also chosen business administration, financial literacy, micro and macro economics, intro to computer science, and high school physics. Now, psychology is something that I'm really interested in learning. I've always been really interested about the brain and how it works, so that's one that I actually did add to my Khan Academy, or need to add to it. You know what I mean? So, like I said, y'all can check out Khan Academy, get caught up with your numbers, start thinking about how you want to move forward. If you're wanting to go into a business aspect, you need to start thinking about it now, because we want to go into the new year with a new business. So, setting that down for now, going into actual budget. I personally use everydollar.com. Like I said, it's a free website. I've tried to go free or cheap as possible around here. Try to keep it as free as possible, at least for right now. So everydollar.com is what I personally use for my own budget, and I also did use it for, I included aspects of my business in it as well. You don't have to do this, and mine is going to look a little bit different than y'all's, or actually a lot different. So I'm going to pull up my EveryDollar real quick. I haven't done this one. I may not have it on this one. Hold on. Let me go back to the other one. Oh. That's what happens when you drink all this fluid. It ends up, you know, filtering. They actually do have a free trial right now for 14-day free trial for premium. So it includes a customizable budget, saving fund, bank connectivity, financial roadmap, paycheck planning, group financial coaching, custom budget report, smart tracking recommendations, and facts track. EveryDollar premium is $80 a year. Heads up. So after your 14-day trial, they'll charge your card. I'm not in that yet. I'm not at that level yet. I am still in the free. So, but yeah, okay. So today's August 12th, so we're out of retrograde now, but we're still in the shadow period. But now we can start actually looking forward to what it is we want to do with our lives. We finally freaking made it through the worst freaking retrograde I've ever experienced in my life. That was chaos. So yeah, anyway. So eBay, I don't have, hold on, let me see actual numbers here. Alright, so going into selling, oh, I guess I'll share my screen, hold on. Split view. I don't know if this is going to work, y'all, I'm trying here. Alright, so Seller Hub, this is for my personal eBay, okay? It says in the last 31 days at $89.04. That's not accurate. I'm still at above standard for as a seller title, but if you look at my numbers, it's not correct. This is the lightest retail sales that you will see. And I'm already up 84.7% just from myself, and that's pretty horrible. So inconsistency is definitely happening right now. One good thing is, though, is that I was actually able to get some of my selling costs down. But my overall is the shipping labels. I don't understand how to get the shipping costs down. I literally break it down as low as I possibly can, which is like $4 an item, okay? My eBay fees, government fees. My government fees came down a lot. But yeah, when I have net sales of $22 for the whole month when it's saying that I sold $80 worth of stuff, it really bothers me. So you got to look at those percentages. Now, mind you, I do have a late shipment rate, which that's entirely my fault, especially with only 2 transactions for the whole month. So that's my fault. We did also have a refund case. So I put size 10 instead of size 11, and they still to this day have not shipped back my stuff. But anyways, and I ended up having to pay for the item and the shipping, giving them back their money, but I still haven't got the product back. So this is the problem that you end up having with sales. So especially when it comes to a product, you end up having missed items, lost items, things that are not delivered, porch pirates, and it's just chaos. So anyway, so you really have to decide whether or not this is for you or not, you know what I mean? Now, I have had 23,877 listing impressions in the past 31 days. 31 days, which is down 21%, if that tells you anything. So I started putting my QR code for my link tree on all of my packages. So I know for a fact that a portion of that listing impression is actually, like a portion of the click-through rate and the listing page views is from that. Okay, so they're looking at my page, but they're not actually purchasing anything, right? The sales conversion rate is at 3.1%. So, I mean, it's really low, and I'm telling you right now, like I said, I'm not selling a whole lot. I have a lot of items, but I'm not selling a lot. So what can I personally do to make that better, right? I can up my ship by date, right, by 1 day, which would mean that I would, as soon as I would get the order, I would ship it that day. Because I'm next day right now, even though, like, it's been shipped out like a week late. Anyway, so, and so I could do that. I could reduce my prices, which I don't really want to do, but I'm probably going to have to do. And then also look at the weight. Is the weight accurate? Because a lot of the times when you're trying to ship something, the weight has to be accurate so this way they can pay for whatever it is that they're doing, right? I don't know why that matters, but it does. I don't know how it works. So yeah, there's my 31 days. Now this year, it says that in the past year, I'm assuming that that's from January. Hold on. Yeah, from January to August, I've sold $627, $628 worth of stuff. Mind you, selling costs were $428 of that $627. So of net sales for this entire year, I have only made $174 for the entire year out of $700. So when you first start going into eBay and you're trying to, like, all of a sudden overnight make a sale or something, unless you know exactly what you're doing, like, mind you, I went into this, I had no clue what I was doing. So this is worst case scenario. Now, mind you, I've done pretty well from this. In my personal opinion, I didn't even think I was going to get a single sale. And I've sold 60 items so far. Mind you, it's not at a very high cost, clearly, because I'm only made $175. But this goes to show you, like, okay, how much of my time and effort, money, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff adds up. And mind you, I was only going to do this for 6 months. And now it's 8 months, according to this. Well, I've been actually selling since October, but let's see. Let's reset the report. So this sales custom. So from, let's just say October 1st of last year to today. Okay, so it's not much difference. It only says that I made $707 in sales, and my actual take home was $194. So just shy of $200. But is that? That's not even. Hold on. Oh, 61 items sold. Yeah, the average price is $11.60. So my average price for my items are so low that it costs more to sell it and ship it than it does for the item. See what I'm saying? And as far as, like, same concept with, like, when you're ordering food from Grubhub or Amazon or I guess Walmart now drop ships deliveries through drone. I know Grubhub does. Amazon drop ship. I mean, literally drops your package in your yard from a drone. The packaging on it's wild. It almost looks like coconut hair or something like that. It's weird.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah.
How much longer you got?
Not much. I'm almost done.
Okay.
So, just as an example, like I said, you know, this month, last 31 days, let's just say, $22. So I can add that into my every dollar of $22. Haven't made anything from Etsy or any of these other ones. Sinking funds. I already put that aside, so I don't even have to add that. Now each one of the kids, I always end up splitting up the money between the kids and Jeff, and then cell phone, grocery order, insurance. I have to renew. So I've got the P.O. box. I don't have anything set aside for house and stuff or gas right now because I don't have it in there yet. Sinking funds. For those of you who don't know what a sinking fund is, or let me backtrack. Alright, so at the very top you have, even if you do this on paper, okay, you take your income, then your income, then you take 10% of that total income, whatever money you get, I don't care what it is, if it's a freaking dollar, break that bitch down into change and put 10 cents in a savings jar. 10% off the top of any income as soon as you get that paycheck. If you can actually divvy up your paycheck to automatically take that 10% off the top before you even see the check, okay? Or before you even see the deposit. Where you can split it up to go into your savings account. That's what I was talking about earlier. So try to put 10% of your total pay into a savings account. Okay? And don't look at it, don't touch it, don't do anything. Alright? And see how much it adds up. Like from now till Christmas or something, till the end of the year. And just see how much it adds up. It might not be much, but it's something, right? And the fact that you don't see it, it doesn't hurt. You know, like you don't even know that it's taken out already. So take 10% off the top for yourself, because remember, we're investing in ourselves, because self is the priority. Okay? Centering in yourself is not being self-centered. Okay? It's centering yourself to know, this is where I'm at, this is what's available to me, this is where I need to do to get to where I want to go. And it kind of gives you that, like, FU vibe of, like, I can do what I want, because of the fact that you have the backing to do that. I don't know what it is about finances, but for some reason, when we don't have the finances at the level that we want it to be, it almost, like, takes a vertebrae out. Have you ever felt that? Like, you just all of a sudden got hit with, like, for example, for me, it was a 200-point credit hit to my credit this year. And to me, it felt like it took out 2 vertebrae out of my back. But when I make money, I feel like it's like that stack of money is a vertebrae. It's another layer of, like, me being able to, like, hold myself up. No, we are not all based off of money. Life is not based off of money. Society has made it that way, but life is not based off money. You can actually do a lot without money. I know a lot of y'all are like, what? No? There is a certain level that you have to get to, but you can do a lot of stuff without money. Alright, so the first thing when you feel like you don't have any money is make sure that your bills are covered, right? Especially if you only have a small amount of money coming in as of right now. So you want to look at your needs first, like your fixed, the ones that are the same every single month. Okay, for me personally, it's cell phone, Amazon Prime, YouTube, Etsy, grocery order, and insurance for right now. I'm sure that at some point in time it'll be, you know, like electrical bill or, you know, like a house payment or something like that. So, or car payment. But those are the ones that are the same every single month. Now, variables are different every month. They could be the same every month for a couple of months, but then they might change up a little bit, like an electrical bill or something like that. Utilities are usually put in the variables. Unless you round up, which some companies, like electric companies, will do that. They'll round up, and then the difference on that ends up coming off of your bill later on or something like that. I don't know how it works. But they do. They keep it. Some electric companies or like utility companies will keep an option for you to have it where it's the same amount every single month. Even if you don't even use that much, it's the same amount. If you use more than that, then they charge you a prorated amount, right? So, try to make as many of your bills as fixed as possible, so you know, okay, this is what I have to have. At a minimum, this is what I've got to have, okay? So you want to think shelter, food, water, you know, we have to end up having to pay for air. You know what I mean? Like, it's a possibility soon. So you want to put your variables like your gas. Now, for gas, I personally would take, when I had a vehicle, I would take the amount of gallons in the tank times, and I would round up to the next dollar of how much gas was right now. Because, you know, it moves around a couple nickels, dimes, you know what I'm saying? So if you round up to the next dollar, you're going to have that cushion space, okay? So I would do my tank number times, say for example, it's $3 a gallon. Wherever you're at, I don't know. But here, it's like $2.65 or something like that. So I would round up to $3 a gallon times, say if I had a 17-gallon tank. You already know, if I put that much of money away, not only am I getting a full tank of gas, but now I have a little bit more spending money to work with, that if I need to top off or something like that. Don't move it out of that account. Leave it in the gas account. Okay, so this way you have more little nickel and diming yourself to a cushion. Okay. Always have an emergency fund available for you. If you have it on a card or if you have it in cash, I don't know how you feel safe with it, whatever works best for you, but I would always leave like 20 bucks in the car. Sounds ridiculous, but you really don't know when you're going to need that, okay? Sometimes, you know, shit happens. So, and another thing that you can look into too, like I said, as far as once you have the fixed and the variables taken care of, now if you have anything left over, you think about sinking funds, right? You want to do it before you have the leftover. You want to plan every dollar that you have coming into you going towards a specific site, because money wants to know where it's going. Okay, you got to give it somewhere to go. Now, for most of us, we don't have a problem with that. Money knows exactly where it's going, and we don't have enough of it spread around. But for those of us who are able to look at this and actually start breaking things down, if you have to, start removing things out of your life. Okay, start removing bills, start removing subscriptions, removing, turning off lights, unplugging things, turning off water, only having short showers. And I know that seems like it's a lack mindset, but no matter what, you're still going to be paying those bills. As much as you can give yourself a cushion, even if it's just up front, okay? Even if you just like, you know, do something up front where it kind of like helps you lean into that whole not spending above your means kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I personally put in here another listing for a savings. There's two different kinds of savings, okay? You have your personal savings account, and then you have an emergency fund. Two completely different things, all right? Emergency fund is literally only for emergencies. Savings account is something that you can put in there as like a pillow for in case of an emergency, but it's more for you just having that extra backbone of saying like, okay, I have a solid foundation to stand on because I got a savings account, and like I don't have to worry about things because I have the money in there already. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not always going to be there. Some of us barely scrape by with getting the bills paid, and then you end up having to work a second job or do several different types of jobs, and, you know, or selling things, or, you know, doing whatever it is that you got to do, you know what I mean? But remember to keep it as legal as possible. I know it's really easy for us to fall into that I'm going to do something illegal because of the fact that it's a loophole and I think I'm going to get away with it, and you're not. I don't care how good you are. You will not get away with it. Karma always comes back. So you want to try to push as much dharma into your life, which is good, positive energy coming back to you. So when you're planning money out, for example, oh, I need paper in my printer. Alright, so say for example you're planning your money out. I put them in little envelopes. So I have personal, I've got the kids, each one of the kids has their own envelope. Jeff's got an envelope. Then I also have, where's it at? Household, selling supplies. I put thrifting, and debts. So every time that I get money, I split it up to these, okay? And it makes my life personally a lot more accountable. It's a little bit more like self-discipline, yes, which, you know, it's hard to do, okay, especially when you don't have a whole lot of income. And trying to build this out for yourself, it might be a little tricky up front, okay? So when you go into the cash envelope system, it might be a little confusing at first, but once you are able to identify what works best for you in your situation and your scenarios, you'll start to see where I'm coming from. When you do a traditional budget, like what we all do, we get a paycheck, we pay our bills, and then we're lucky if we get anything left over, right? If you use what I call the pay it forward system for yourself with your bills, once you're able to get to a certain point, now you can start today if you want to, but once you're able to get to a certain point, you'll actually be paying forward into your bills. you'll be paying forward into things that you'll be able to sink funds into, like maintenance, personal, date night, if you have thrifting, or if you have a garden. Maybe you pay for a health insurance plan that like is not, it's outside of what you're normally, you know, doing, whatever. Maybe you're wanting to put money into a health card or something like that. That is also a possibility. Say if you have pets, or if you want to plan for a holiday, you can do your own personal money savings challenges. There's a couple of them online that you could do. They're like little dollar challenges and stuff like that end up adding up after a period of time. Like I said, you're nickel and diming yourself into wealth. Okay? Another thing is also my seller supplies, which I do need to purchase. So I'm lucky. I'm glad that that's in there. But, like, say for example, if my kids need clothes, or if they need food or whatever outside of whatever other services that they have available to them, I want to make sure that they have what they need, right? Same thing for myself. I want to make sure that my debts are cleared, so this way when I move forward into maybe going into a business or getting married, or, you know, starting a new debt, you know. For example, like I said, my credit score dropped up 200 points overnight that I had been working on for 5 years trying to get it to that point. It was like just shy of 650, and now it's in the 400s. So everything that I worked on is done. It brought the bill current, which fucked my credit. And so because of the fact that it brought it current, now do I have the option to reopen another one and tack that what was already existing onto it since it was brought current? Or did that completely screw me out of everything? I don't know. So y'all let me know. But I want to try to get my credit up, get my existing bills paid down, you know, anything debts that I have prior to moving into a business, or prior to moving into marriage, or anything into this next year. And mind you, there's only a couple months left. So as you can see, I have a lot of debt. For me personally. Now y'all, I'm pretty sure you guys are just like drowning in the shit, but this was just me, and that was more than enough. Okay. I mean, I'm literally just shy of $15,000 in debt. So if I was to get a business loan, I could possibly put that into that if I wanted to. I should, but yeah, I could. And then, like I said, you don't want to pay them off. You want to make it to where it builds your credit long term. Okay? That's why most people end up like working from debt situations, right? Like you don't pay taxes. Everything that you do is coming from a debt situation. Like your entire business aspect is coming from debt. Your entire like personal life is coming from debt. Even though it looks like you're living the life, you're not. You're in constant debt, which most people freak out about. But debt is not a bad thing. Debt is actually a good thing, and it's something that you can work with. It gives you a starting point. Okay? So, make sure to keep up with your every dollar or your budgeting, any kind of envelope systems that you have. Make sure that you're labeling your categories correctly. Sometimes, like I said, I had to go through this several times and kind of filter through it a couple of times, like just to see how it looked. Because I had certain categories like multiply listed in just different ways. Pay off debts, 50-50 challenges, and roundup savings. I know for a fact that Cash App allows you to have a savings account as well as put a certain percentage into roundup. So every dollar that you spend, a certain percentage of that actually goes into a savings account for you. So every time you spend money, it's actually putting some money back for you. Plans and goals and sinking fund, like I said, you know, make sure that your categories are correct. Like for example, a sinking fund for me is a P.O. box, because my P.O. box only charges me every 3 months. Now I'm in the process of talking with Jeff about like possibly changing that up. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. The 50-50 challenge, as an example, just real quick, I want to show you guys. It looks like this, and it has like little dollar numbers on here, specific amounts, and like, say you get a paycheck and you're gonna check off a box, like, oh, I'm gonna put $1 in today. I'm gonna put $83 in today. I don't have a whole lot of money, so I'm only gonna put $2 in today. But this is every day, once a day, every day. okay? Or every paycheck or whatever. By the time you're done filling this out, you'll have $5,050 saved up. Okay? Now, mind you, you can use pennies and stuff like that. You can use change that you find to add up. Okay? It doesn't specifically have to come out of your paycheck. You could sell something and make some money and put it in there. You could get money from, like, I don't know, a family member or something. I don't know. However you guys do it. Like I said, some certain categories include, like, if you have kids, a vehicle, holidays, travel, your house. Because remember, there's payments outside of your actual payment and, like, your insurance and stuff. Like, if you need renovations. If you're a homeowner, you know for a fact, in the next 20 years, from the time that you purchase it, you're going to have to redo your roof. So you have 20 years to save for a roof. Okay? Which is, like, mandatory. I think it's through insurance as well as the house. So I know my parents had to deal with that. So, like, yard, for me personally, like seed, fertilizer, tools, or something like that. Garden, if you're like me, like gardening. Personal items. I put in there phone, medical, clothes, shoes, makeup, toiletries, whatever you would normally use. Pets, any kind of needs list. And then your wants. Your wants are at the very bottom. Very, very bottom. Okay? Remember, we're taking 10% off the top for our personal savings. So technically that is the want. And I like printing out some of them. So you can find some really cool, like, websites and stuff that you can print out your own little envelopes. But I'll be honest with you. For my envelope system, I literally just got these envelopes and just punched holes in them. And put them in an A6 binder. Now, you can go on Amazon and find an entire collection of cash envelope system stuff. Have fun with that. Please use my link. It's in my About Me section, and if not, it's in my link in bio. It's in my link tree. So, yeah, that's it. And like I said, this website is free for y'all to go check out. And to each their own. So, anyway, I hope y'all had a wonderful day. I did stream for 2 hours, so I hope you enjoyed that. And I covered a lot today, so I feel like pretty confident in today's stream. And I feel like that's how it should be every time that I stream. It should be very detailed, very in-depth. We're going to keep brick and mortaring the baseline of this foundation every single day until we get the shit right. We're going to keep going, right? And we're not going to give up. Even if we want to give up, we don't give up completely, okay? And so, like I said, y'all go check out my social medias. Keep checking for me if I'm live. I don't have a schedule, at least not right now. And tomorrow is Work It Out Wednesday, so y'all can join me for that. I do have a series that's going to be starting tomorrow. So I'll do the weigh-in tomorrow morning, and then we'll do the gym. But it'll be part of a series now. So for those of you who are on my TikTok, that will be the gym series. And so every day that we go to the gym, the series will be live. So I'm going to add this in here too. Ooh, I just got really dizzy. Ooh, I haven't felt that in a while. Hold on. Sorry. I haven't felt that in a while. I used to pass out. I can't say it's hydration because I've been hydrated. It's been a long time since this happened. It's like a weird pressure feeling, and then all of a sudden it's like my vision goes out, and then I get dizzy. And sometimes I can sit there for a little bit and I'll be alright and it'll pass over. But a lot of times I have to lay down on the ground for it to pass by. It used to be that I didn't know what it was. and I would feel it, and it would just take over me, and then I would pass out and wake up a few minutes later, or however much time later. Since I found out what it was, I've been able to control it a little bit better, and I can kind of sense it when it comes, but that kind of came out of nowhere. It makes you feel really weird, almost like just really dizzy, and then like everything goes dark. It's called vasovagal syncope is what they told me I have, and it's where my blood pressure drops out of nowhere. But I have not gone for the tilt table test, so I don't know exactly what it is. But I do know that I still have to experience it, but it's so random that it's not like a medical concern, I guess, really. On August 27th, we go for the mammogram, and I should by then find out what the testing was, the results were from Raleigh. I don't know what that was. That was so weird. And I'm sitting here talking to y'all, so I'm not like getting up and moving around a bunch. I've been working out. I've been eating better. I don't know what triggers it. I don't think it's sugar. Because this has got sugar. It's got natural sugars in it. I just ate breakfast. I don't understand, y'all. Sometimes I really just don't understand my body. It just does stuff whenever the fuck it wants to, and I don't get it. Sorry. I don't like doing that live. Especially, I don't like y'all seeing that part of me. You know, we always talk about our weaknesses on here, and it's a great stepping stone, but when you already know the problem and you don't know how to fix it, I mean, I'm doing everything that they told me to do. Hydrate, eat more, work out, stay active. I'm doing all of it. And it's still happening. It's very disheartening. So for those of you who are dealing with health issues, I totally understand where you're coming from. There's things about myself I don't even know. I don't think I'll ever know, but plus I don't have insurance, so it makes it harder for me to be able to go see doctors and stuff. I have to go to like the health department, and they don't really, or like the emergency room, they don't really, they only talk about one thing and then they charge you for it anyways. I haven't had an income in like 5 years, at least not a solid one. So insurance is really not an option for me. Sorry, y'all. So yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. Stay safe out there. And like I said, just kind of take a half a day at a time and just keep breathing. That's all we really can do. And until I see you guys again, hopefully I don't pass out between then. Jesus. Looking at the ground like if I fall, what am I hitting? So yeah, y'all have a wonderful day. Say bye, Zoe. Bye. Pretty girl. She's so pretty. Anyway, all right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day and behave. I can make this work. Never works. Never works. I've ended it like 10 minutes ago. Hey, Gary Keene. Sorry you just joined and I'm getting ready to go off. We talked about a lot of stuff today, so. Anyway. I'm not feeling so good, so I'm going to go lay down. I hope y'all have a good day. And, as soon as I can get this thing to end, that'd be great. It won't close. It won't end. My computer is locked. What? What is going on? I'm going to have to restart it. Y'all have a good day.